welcome back. Great to have you back for yet another video. So for this video we will be attempting to make a tactical crossbow. So I'm gonna get the stuff ready and I'll start showing you the first steps. Alright, so first what I've done is I cut out a piece of cardboard in the shape of a gun stock, and then I taped it to this piece of wood here, and then I'm going to use a jigsaw to cut out the shape of it, and so get back to you once we finish that. Alright, so here it is cut out. Now that it's cut out, I'm going to sand it some with a electric sander and try to round up them edges. Be back in a few minutes. Alright, so now that we got these corners rounded on here, make it look better, more like an actual stock. Now that we got that finished, we're going to work on the front part of the crossbow. So, see y'all back in a few minutes. Alright, so I have two different wood samples that you can use for the front of your crossbow. In this video I used two pieces glued together like you see here. For my next crossbow, I'll be using a 2x4. So you can see 2x4 is a little thicker, wider. I'm using this one to make it slightly smaller, but the 2x4 is easier, so I'd recommend, if you want to do it to make it easier, using the 2x4. Alright, so as you can see now, I have two even length pieces of wood glued together, and so I've got them clamped together, and once those dry, this is what we're going to be using to form the front of the crossbow. So once that dries, we'll start working on it. Alright, so the glue has finished drying. Now that it's finished drying, we are going to be cutting a notch out of this end right here to slip our stock into. So I'm going to cut that out. We'll see how it fits, and I'll show you here in a minute. Alright, so we got this notched out, and our stock fits nicely in there. So we wanted that to fit nice and tight in there. And then we're going to try to cut a groove up here to put our trigger in. And so we'll get that done and be back with you all in a little bit. Alright, so now that we've cut a notch up here for the trigger, this is what we're going to be using for the trigger. I've drilled a hole through here to put a bolt in to hold the trigger, so we're going to do that. Alright, so now we got the trigger here, and we're going to put it in the hole. Gotta make sure I got it lined up. Alright, good. We got the trigger in there. So we're going to put two dowels up here, two wooden dowels, so when you pull the string back, hooks behind those. Pull this, it pushes it up and over the dowels, and that'll make it fire. So we're going to get them wooden dowels in there, and I'll get back to y'all here in a minute. Alright, so now that we've got our wooden dowels in here to hook the string behind, we're going to take this piece here and we're going to attach it underneath like this, so it gives us kind of V shape right here, so we can set the front of our crossbow in there. We'll be using this piece of PVC pipe and it'll go in there like this. So I'm going to glue and screw this on, and once it's finished I'll show you how it looks. Alright, so now we got this screwed right here on. We got several screws in it, 3, and then I've got glue in here, so that's on there pretty good. So next what we're going to do is I have 2 rounded pieces of wood. They're going to go on top of here like this. I'm going to have to cut them to the right length, and then this will be as big around as my arrow is, so I'll use that to measure in the center, and we'll put it together like this and glue these pieces on top for a groove for our arrow to slide down. So I'm going to get that finished up and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so now that the glue has finished drying on these, our rails for our arrow to go down, I drilled a hole right there and put a wooden dowel all the way through, and then when we was making it I made sure to leave a notch up right there so we could put our piece of PVC pipe in, so that dowel there will be what we tie it onto. And then if you come back here, I slipped our stock in that groove I left, screwed that on there. So I'm gonna take the PVC pipe end piece and I'm gonna tie that on there. Alright, so you can see on the front of it where I've tied it on there, and I'm actually thinking about painting it all black, and so it'll look more like a tactical crossbow, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna paint that and then I'll show you how it works. Also I added a fiberglass rod on the back of it, or fiberglass piece on the back of it, to give it some extra stability so it will shoot harder. I mean, you don't have to do that, the PVC pipe works by itself, but I did that to make it shoot harder. So alright, now as you can see, we finished painting it. It's a very pretty color of black. So we're going to get some arrows and we're going to head out to test it out. Meet y'all out there in a minute. Alright, so now that we got our crossbow done, we're going to test it out. We're going to just be using a normal arrow, practice arrow, to test it out with. And I'm going to shoot this bottle back here. And so we'll get that ready and we'll show you in a minute.